It's Sunday night, 9 o'clock. Welcome to All Lacrosse Live. It looks a little different. It is a little different. And man, I'm just happy to be here. I'm just happy to be here. With me, as usual, I have Shawn Slaght over in Moose Jaw. How are you, Shawn?
Yep, doing good. Thanks, Gary.
I apologize last week. I messed up and put him somewhere he's
You
not.
put me
And
in Saskatoon. Yeah, that's all right.
yeah. Just a hop, skip, and a 2 hour jaunt down the road. So,
Just a little bit. Yeah.
and over above me, I have Muffler Mike. How are you, Mike? Over in
Doing good.
Connecticut. Excellent. Excellent. I'd like to say I'm doing good too, but it's debatable. My computer went today, and I've been going crazy. I really got to thank Pat for really jumping in and giving us a hand. He's been running the stuff behind the scenes while I'm trying to figure out what in the hell is going on here. And if you know me, you know that's not an easy task. So bear with me. My computer is up and running again, and I'm trying to do 6 things at once, and I'm not good at doing one thing at once. So if I look like I'm a little flustered, I apologize. But just before we get rolling, I want to remind everybody that all of our episodes are streamed live across Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch, and you can catch all the action on EOPsports.com. Remember to hit the subscribe, follow, and like buttons, and always share. Hey, Eduardo, how you doing?
Hey, Eduardo.
Always enjoy our affiliates. Normally, I would have the list to put up, but hey, just picture it. Go to EOP. You will see shows aplenty every day for everyone. If you missed a show, no worries. Grab all the podcasts and all the major podcasting companies, which include Amazon, iTunes, Google Play, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spotify, and so much more. Remember, you can stay up to date with all sports by visiting EOPsports.com with great articles from our huge staff of contributors. And there you go. You can see all of our shows that are up and running. Like I say, my favorite's always Steel Steps Friday nights. Love Pat's show. Got to check that out. Remember to subscribe to our weekly newsletter. Also, you can sign up at eopsports.com. Also, please check out our YouTube page. Some more retro games went up. More are coming. The next bag is actually sitting right beside me with the next bunch of retro games to go in tomorrow. So it should be more by the beginning of June. So looking forward to all that. Well, guys, how are we doing?
Doing good.
Yeah, quiet week.
Can't wait for this weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is going to be the fireworks weekend, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
It could be the final one, or it could be just the start of something really crazy to come. But if we look at the two teams, before we get into some of the other stuff, just to banter and lovely. If we look at the two teams, the differences and similarities are both crazy because they both have great transition. They both have a lot of speed. They both have great goaltenders. But, the experience level obviously goes to Buffalo with the championship and with guys like Dane Stiff, Smith, Priolo, Matt Spanger, and the list goes on. Can Albany overcome that? And I know they're young and don't know they're supposed to lose. But can they overcome all that? Mike, we'll start with you.
Well, yes. They do have championship experience in Leo Storos and Anthony Jokum. So, and that's not something where it's like, hey, they won 15 years ago. Okay, Storos won in 2017 with the Swarm. Jokum won 2 years ago with Colorado, beating this same Buffalo team more or less. And it's really hard to ignore the fact that they went 2-0 against Buffalo.
Right.
I'll throw in some of the caveats that, maybe some of the folks in Bandit Land might want to point out that, okay, yeah, the first win was week 2 of the season. But it was, and it was in Albany. So a little home floor advantage, if you will, but was it really a home floor advantage if, people from Bandit Land were showing up and packing the arena? And they put 17 goals in on Matt Vince. So let me just say that again. They put 17 goals in on Matt Vince in that win.
Yeah.
Okay, so talk about they don't know what they're doing. They know what they're doing to me.
Take that a step
Right.
farther, Mike. They put 30 goals past Matt Vince in 2 games.
Yeah, and then they go back in February, and here's the next caveat from Banditland. And again, trying not to be anti-bandits here because I think they are red hot, and they can series. But Albany won in February in Banditland, 13-10. Who was in net? Okay, it was Devlin Champion. Again, it was an away game. This was a home game for Buffalo. What happened? Against a team that literally no one was expecting to be where they are right now, but that team themselves. So,
Guys, I'm leaving for a second, and I will be right back with you, as my computer just worked.
Excellent. Now, Shawn, I'll let you chime in with some points here.
No, I think one point that Gary made was a good one. Is
All right, am I here?
Yep, you are.
You're. Anyways, I was going to say I think Gary made a good point. In the fact that this is not a team that's. You're right there, Gary. But this is now a team that's so young that they don't know they're supposed to lose, and they've been doing that all season. And I don't see that really changing much in this as well.
This is awesome. Yeah. I can't get sound.
Well, we're hearing you, Gary. You may not be hearing us, but so yeah. I mean, I
can't get sound.
I see this going. I see this going either way. It's. I'm hearing. I'm a little worked up because I'm hearing a lot of comments from Bandit fans that a lot of them came when Albany switched up the timing of Game 3.
Right.
For anyone who doesn't know, Game 3 was supposed to be, I believe, Friday the 24th, and now they've moved it to Saturday evening, the 25th. There was a conflict, I believe, with the arena football team in Albany, but they were able to kind of swap days on the calendar so that the Firewolves could play on a Saturday instead of a Friday night. So, which I think is great. Hopefully a chance to get more folks in the building. But of course, it invited tons of comments from Bandit Land in the form of, "Oh, you're not going to need a Game 3 because the Bandits are going to sweep." Well, you know what? Albany could sweep too.
Yeah,
and how'd that thinking work out for you in 2016, 2019, 2022? Not too well.
You know what? And Eduardo made the point about fresh legs, and yes, Buffalo has a good transition game, but I think if Albany can dictate the pace, similar to like the Saskatchewan-San Diego game, where they have younger legs, they can dictate the pace, really push the floor. Albany has that because they have that older team. You could just break them down, wear them down.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, you're gonna see, you could see that happen where Buffalo could be at home in Game 2 on Saturday night and run out of gas on their own floor.
Yeah.
To sit here and realistically think that that's not a possibility. That
you know what? That's not a bad comparison.
It's awfully bold of any Bandits fan. And listen, I feel just as strongly that the Bandits can roll right over. All it takes is just them getting to Doug Jamieson, early in Game 1 and rattling him. That can happen just as easily.
I think that's really the X factor in the series is Doug Jamieson. Are we going to see the one that we've seen for the majority of the season, where he's just been lights out? Almost that goaltender of the year. He is goaltender of the year candidate that we know he can be. Or we have seen a few games where he has faltered. He's really going to be that X factor in this game, I think.
Yeah,
or the series.
Yeah, and I mean, if he gets dialed in,
yeah, it's going to be a long series for Brian.
Yeah. I mean, be ready for. I mean, be ready for something on the order, even lower scoring, say, than, their win against Halifax. I mean, that was a 9-3 win.
Yeah.
And he only allowed 3 goals to a pretty potent Halifax offense. So.
Yeah. And I think Eduardo made a great point about how Albany swept the Seals. I think it's a very good, actually, analogy. If they can kind of continue with that same game plan of wearing down an older team, they're going to bring home the championship.
Yeah, I agree. So, I mean, ultimately, I think, I don't know,
And Albany's playing with house money too, right? Albany's playing with house money. They weren't even supposed to be here. Everyone had them in last place. They were last year. What do they have to lose at this point?
Ooh, that is a good question.
Well, they have no pressure whatsoever.
I mean, who had the harder opponent?
There I am.
Yeah, I mean, to answer,
I want to say Buffalo had Toronto, which was we've been saying is their championship to lose.
I mean, I tend to lean toward Albany, just because I think, I don't know. I mean, San Diego had the best record at home. And Albany went in there, and
that was the surprise.
They punched the Seals in the mouth in game 1. Okay, I mean, some people want to talk about maybe the refs influencing it or whatever. No. Throw all that aside. I think you have to lean toward Albany because you have to consider the recent history that Buffalo's had against Toronto, where they've just. Unfortunately, they've had Toronto's number up and down for a long time now.
Well, they have definitely had Toronto's number for at least 10 years.
Yeah,
I believe it was 2012 is what they were talking about.
So I think just based on that alone, I think you have to say Albany had the more difficult opponent in the semis.
Yeah, I kind of changed my answer. Yeah, I think I agree with you because I mean, how much of us who picked Albany to beat San Diego on San Diego's home floor.
Yeah, I don't think
none of us, because we looked at that record and we said, "There's no way."
Yeah, there's no way. So it didn't matter how they were doing it, but they were getting it done. So, boy, yeah, and I also feel like maybe the other X factor here, in addition to Doug Jamieson, is that Albany power play.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I didn't look at the numbers in the playoffs, but I suppose I could take a look at them now and see how they've done compared to, the regular season, because I'm pretty sure they ranked dead last in the regular season on the power play or close to it. So, right. but they've absolutely heated up in the playoffs on the power play.
Yeah. Just before we get to any other things, and just Pat, just to show that I actually have a little bit of control in here, even though I have to go with a different screen. I'm doing this with 2 screens, y'all, and this is fun. I'll put us into our first break, and if I can get that done, then I'm cool. All right, at least for this week. I'll put us into Sherry's tickets.
Great moments don't just happen, they happen with you in the crowd. Sherry'sTickets.com is easy to use and has no hidden fees. The price you see is the price you pay. Pay less, play more with Sherry'sTickets.com and get the tickets you want. Save even more by using the exclusive promo code EOP10 and share an experience that will live on. Don't pay hidden fees and save 10%. Why use any other ticket reseller and get those hard-to-come-by tickets to the big game? If you need a more personal touch, give them a call at 610-494-5050. Sherry'sTickets.com also has great theater and concert tickets that are hard to get your hands on. Remember, don't overpay with the rest and save with the best at Sherry'sTickets.com. For that next great moment, save 10% by using the promo code EOP10. Great moments start at Sherry'sTickets.com.
And that's it, Sherry's Tickets, because, Phillies are going out of town soon. You got all kinds of things going on. I'm sure the union's got stuff that Pat wants to tell us about, how wonderful they're. Come on, Pat, talk to us about the union.
Come on. Kick these down. Jeez.
You're talking to a Toronto Rock fan.
Yeah.
Remember, I told you, players wear the jerseys. We wear the tattoos. Pat?
What's up, guys? Hold on 1 second. I just want to get my lighting right. Give me 1 second. I'm ready to kick things off here because I definitely don't want to talk wings here. I definitely don't want to talk wings.
Hey, so during the commercial, I looked it up and wow. So we know that the Albany power play was just not
dreadful.
Dreadful this year. So in the playoffs against Halifax, 0 for 8. Game 1 against San Diego, 3 for 9. Game 2 against San Diego, 5 for 10. That's a total of 8 for 27. That's less than 33%, which is probably about where they were for the regular season.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I'm going to guess. And I mean, this brings me back to week 3, week 4, somewhere in there where, even week 6 or 7 where they were 6-0, but all we could talk about was, why isn't this power play clicking? And is this going to be a problem come playoff time? And here we are with the Firewolves in the finals on less than 33% power play efficiency. Despite that just weakness that
amazing,
they
isn't
really had all season, they are here 2 wins away from the championship. So, I hate to say it, but it almost feels like here's another, tangible that's in Albany's favor, that they don't have to light it up on the power play to have a chance at winning these games, because they're not right now, just like they weren't in the regular season.
Right. But if that power play actually does catch fire, well, we have a whole new aspect to the series, right?
Oh yeah.
So again, please, if anyone from Banditland's watching, please, more objectivity, please. This is not a gimme that you're gonna sweep. Okay? And listen, I'll be the first one to raise my hand and say, you know what? I was dead wrong about this team. And I'm not picking Albany to sweep. I'm not even necessarily picking Albany to win in 3. I don't know. My gut feeling tells me this series is going 3 games, personally. But, I'm not going to be shocked if we see Albany celebrating on Buffalo's floor Saturday night. It's not going to be just this.
That'll be something. I'll be there.
It's not going to be this holy cow, what happened moment.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be you thought you had it in the bag, and you didn't put in the work like you put in 2023.
Right. By the way, I've put us in Banditland there, guys. If you look at our background.
Nice. I was just going to say the other matchup that's going to be interesting to watch is Nardella on the faceoff dot with Farrell. Farrell came in; he was supposed to be kind of that solution for Buffalo, and he's been underwhelming. If that's the
Well,
word.
I'll tell you
To me, he's
something
been-
about that point, Sean, is he learned to use his body against TD Erlin, right? Because Erlin's a much smaller guy. And even then, he wasn't winning the majority of the faceoffs. He is not going to be able to use his body against Nardella. Nardella will
Yeah.
take him to school if he tries to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. And you have to wonder if there's going to be a different dynamic, though, there, just because of, their history facing off in PLL.
Mm-hmm.
I understand, hey, face-off rules are slightly different, field versus box, but, it's just, it's something where I think if Farrell can get the edge, then that's a point in the Bandits' favor.
Right.
but he has to get the edge, right?
He does, but that's also, we have to remember too that's also a catalyst for the rapid fire Buffalo run that we see is okay, so listen, Buffalo, whatever, they have an uncharacteristic suddenly, they find themselves in a situation like they were in Toronto where, hey, they're entering the fourth quarter, they're down 4 or 5 goals. But, they can suddenly put up the runs that we see like they had against Toronto to take game 2. Part of that was, okay, Burns scores, but then Farrell's winning a faceoff. Smith scores. Farrell's winning a faceoff. The Nanticoke scores. Farrell's winning a faceoff, and just we have to keep in mind that that's a catalyst for that.
That goes back, yeah. That goes back to what we've talked about before: is Buffalo scores in bunches, right? So that's part of the thing with Albany's defense is they got to kind of try to eliminate any momentum that Buffalo can carry. They get 1 or 2 goals off of you. You can't let that snowball and go downhill on you.
Yeah, and it can, and it can, and I can't sit here and say that Doug Jamieson necessarily is any less immune to that happening to him, than say what happened to Nick Rose, what happened to Brett Dobson in the quarterfinals, so.
The way I'm looking at this way, and as from the outside, it's just as a casual perspective. And look, this is a wonderful story that the Firewolves are displaying right in front of our very eyes. They went from worst to first, pouncing on a team like the Steels and all that stuff. But to me, I'm going to go with the team that's becoming now a dynasty. As much as they look like the bad guys, if we're going to use the wrestling term, the heel, the in Bandit Land. I mean, granted, we all thought, I thought, Toronto was going to run the show. I thought, and they stopped that, and they stopped them in their tracks. They stopped a team like Toronto, and they sweeped them. And like I said, guys, I know the fans are checking the show, probably questioning about the calls or whatever, and that's your opinion. But at the end of the day, they won the game, and they won 2 of them. So. It's hard to say with this team with all the experience headed into the to the biggest game on stage it's going to be a day at the beach. I think that this team, Bands are going to walk out of this thing. I think it's going to be a 2-0 split, Bands' favor.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Well,
Evan Schemenauer came up with a great point though of why Toronto and San Diego lost, and age had a big thing to do with it on both squads, and they ran out of gas. And if you look at the second game in Buffalo, Toronto's up 8-4. Yeah, there was some questionable stuff going on. However, Buffalo turned it up. Toronto wasn't able to put that extra gear in. They ran out of gas. San Diego, obviously, between the travel and the older legs, ran out of gas. Well, they were running out of gas coming the end of the year. and you get a team that's youngest in the league that is that kind of talented, and they're going to run circles, and that's exactly what they did. San Diego got frustrated. San Diego took penalties, just exacerbated the situation. Was it the catalyst for everything? No. Was it the result of stuff? Yes. Big difference.
That's
And I guess you may have been in and out, Gary, but that's kind of a point I made with this series now is you have a bit of an older Buffalo team versus a very, very young Albany team. Even as you had mentioned, Buffalo has a great transition, but if Albany can just even dictate the pace and play at a high pace and just wear those older legs down in Buffalo, they could have a chance.
Yeah, I agree, and I do want to just go back and kind of to the point Eduardo just made. First of all, you definitely cannot discount the experience on the Bandits side. This is their 4th straight final. They could be, at the end of next weekend, we could be talking about, hey, they're 4 straight finals appearances. They only have 1 title to show for it. But, you also have to look at it as they know how they've lost. They know how to win. So,
right.
Albany has not been on this stage before, with the exception of Jokum and Storos, I believe. So,
all right. Well, just a reminder that the first game is this Friday over in Albany, 7 p.m.
Oh, it's
ESPN and TSN, I'm assuming. If you look at game 2 is in Buffalo, 7:30. Again, ESPN, TSN. And then game 3, if necessary, is the following Friday.
Not anymore. So they have moved that to Saturday the 25th, I believe, at 5 o'clock or 5:30. Yeah, the arena had been previously booked, I believe, for Albany's Arena League team, and they were able to make a schedule change to accommodate. So the arena will play Friday, and then Saturday the Firewolves have it. So if game 3,
Buffalo does take penalties, though. Buffalo gets themselves in position when they start losing their composure, and they take it at inopportune times. But they have so much talent that they usually can score shorthanded or overcome that and come back.
And good comment from you, Yeti. The thing I'll flip around though on that comment is how many penalties will Buffalo be able to draw from Albany? How often have we seen things like, just, hey, feed it to Nanticoke or Buchanan inside and just let them try to bulldoze their way and draw a penalty. And now you're on the power play. And, it ignites a multi-goal run.
But the other thing is that Albany has something that the other teams haven't, and that is speed. So they don't need to go and hold and clutch and grab. They can actually stick to them without doing any of the stick work, which is something that Buffalo isn't used to. They're used to being able to put that extra gear, Byrne, Fraser, Kluche even, and they're usually mucked upon and get calls for it. Albany's quick enough that they're not going to need to do that stuff and can keep up and still block lanes. Probably as good as Buffalo can.
Yeah. And going back to the Buffalo penalties, as we go back again to Albany's power play, is it even going to be a factor? Even if Buffalo's taking a bunch of penalties, Albany's
8 for 27,
power
right?
play could, so it may not even be a factor.
If it does catch fire, though, that just changes the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, 5 for 10 in game 2 against San Diego, so.
Because it's also not Toronto, man. They're not shooting from outside. Albany likes to get inside. All of them like to get inside.
True.
So, and then you have somebody like a Colton Watkinson going to go down the floor and bulldoze his way through too. So is the Buffalo defense ready for that? there's a lot of things that people are overlooking just by looking at Buffalo. I think that there's a lot of things in there that are underlying the surface that people are overlooking.
Yeah.
And
100%, yeah.
I think we're in for just one heck of a final.
Yeah, no matter how it
Oh,
goes.
yeah.
And like I said, I right now I feel like it could go any way. It could be Buffalo sweep, it could be Albany sweep, it could be Buffalo in 3, it could be Albany in 3. I don't feel like
Yep.
there's
And if
any
Jameson gets as hot as he can, Buffalo's going to get very frustrated very quickly.
Yep, 100%.
I just think
All right,
they're, but Gary, I mean, to
ahead,
me,
Matt.
I just think that no, to me, I just think that Buffalo is like I said, this is their stage. They are, they're the new dynasty. I just think that anything that Albany is going to throw at them, they're going to have the counterpunch ready. Like to me, this is they are. If not, their head coach is already doing all the film work that he possibly can on Albany, and expecting all those. Like you said, you got 5 guys who like to get in the grill, come inside the box and score. Well, I think, Albany is just, I mean, Buffalo will have a counterpunch ready to rock and roll. So, but like you said, this is going to, if I'm going to give a final prediction, I think this is going to go 3 games. But I think Buffalo will squeak by with a dub.
Fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I think as a fan, we're in for some great lacrosse.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
And not having a horse in the race is almost a blessing because now I can just rub both
Hey,
sides.
it's a joy, yeah.
You got to look at the upside somewhere in here, right?
right.
Anyways, before we move on, just a reminder, this part of the show is brought to you by Philly Sports Trips.
If you're a Philly sports fan and you want to travel with your favorite team, then travel with the best. If you want to travel with the pros, then go to phillysportstrips.com. Philly Sports Trips features premium travel and tailgating experiences for the best fans ever, the Philadelphia sports fan. Philly Sports Trips has self-travel packages and full travel packages available with round-trip flights for Phillies, Eagles, Flyers, Sixers, and even the Union. They even offer day trips for more local games. Go to phillysportstrips.com, sign up immediately, and tell them EOP sent you. Do not forget, Philly Sports Trips has all the away trips for the Eagles' upcoming 2024 season, including the Brazil trip week 1. Jump on it now before you lose out on all these great opportunities. Go to phillysportstrips.com and don't miss the next great Philly sports moment.
And I'm sure there's even wing strips for you, Pat.
Yes, I can't wait. I want to go next year. I want to rock and roll. Hopefully, they can have a little better taste in my mouth. Well, you know what? They are a better team on the road. So yes, let's go.
There you go. Yeah.
Well, just also a reminder for everybody that Philadelphia is also going to be hosting this year's Fan Cup.
Excellent.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. July the 20th. That's when all of us invade Philadelphia again for that particular weekend and just make it drunken debauchery. Remember, the motto is win or lose, we drink the booze. So it just shows you the kind of lacrosse you're going to get on a Saturday afternoon.
Great. Well, I wonder if we can start drinking.
Good idea.
It's going to be the next great thing, eh?
Oh, man.
Yes, sir.
Put this in their EOP chat. Drinking, win or lose, we just drink the booze.
We drink the booze. We actually have a trophy for parking lot, believe it or not. And the roadies, we may not have come away with many championships lately, but we have come away with parking lot the last number of years. Last one standing, Friday and Saturdays. And then, of course, always goes great for the 8-hour drive back home, right? Albany was just a, get me ready for the Philadelphia trip.
That's it.
Gotta love it. While I got everybody thinking about things coming up, just a reminder that the McDougal fundraiser is coming up, and that will be on July 6th at Track. You have a junior A game at 3 p.m., celebrity game at 6 p.m. You want to get there for that. All kinds of names over the years, everything from John Tavares Leaf to seeing Don Cherry there, to seeing Brian Shanahan playing, seeing Sean Ferris play, a lot of the coaches, a lot of the other guys, as well as a fair amount of NLLers playing just for fun. So $10, I believe, is all it costs to get in. Also have a beer garden and a silent auction. definitely worth your time. I want to bring your attention to a little bit of news outside of lacrosse with a lacrosse guy. This one got all of our attention earlier in the week. Zed Williams is trying out for the Buffalo Bills as a linebacker. That's amazing. Right up there with Chris Hogan of Penn State fame, and of course New England Patriots fame. I think he can do it. To tell you the truth, I think he's athletic enough. He's put on an awful lot more size than he had, and he's already a freight train on the lacrosse floor. If he doesn't, and he comes back and plays lacrosse, can you imagine who's going to get in front of him?
Yeah, no kidding.
Who do you got to get in front of him? You're going to have to be 6'6", 280.
I'm thinking the other side, too. If he doesn't come back, that's a big loss for Colorado.
Another loss for Colorado.
Yeah.
The rebuild goes that much deeper. Already I think, Six Nations has been doing all kinds of movement in the summer because I don't think Zed's going to be playing for them. I don't think he can risk an injury if he's going to go out for the Buffalo Bills training camp. So that's already going to be a big thing. But, nice segue into the MSL. But how about a couple of the trades? And now they're finalized, right, guys? We knew Brad Cree went to Six Nations. Now Troy Holochuk is part of Oakville. So the Oakville Rock is looking more and more like the Toronto Rock all the time. Now the goalie tandem, of course, is Nick Rose and Troy Holochuk. Our second trade, Steve Priolo, of course, went to Six Nations. And in return now, Brooklyn receives the 2025 second-round pick and 2026 second-round pick from Six Nations. Peterborough and Coburg made a couple of trades. This is a good one for Coburg. Got some good young guys in there. Zach Thompson, Nick Webb, and Jordan Hendricks go over to Coburg. And Dylan Hutchison and Holden Lowe's go over to Peterborough. And Peterborough wasn't done. They made a trade with Owen Sound, where Owen Sound receives Caleb Commandant, and in return, Peterborough receives a fourth-round pick in the 2025 draft. Also, Owen Sound released their front office. Of course, we already knew that Steve McCarthy, old friend of mine, through Brampton and through Oshawa of the ALL, is an MSL governor and general manager. And the head coach now of Owen Sound, which, by the way, starts off in a week. They are part of that game next Monday. Adam Jones of NLL fame, of course. Colorado, Toronto, amongst others. His assistant coaches are Chad Culp and Greg Harnett. That's a pretty good squad.
Yeah.
Even the player personnel guy is DJ Cleveley. I'm telling you, this is a really fantastic front office. Top notch. So right off the bat, they're more solid than most of the MSL teams. Now to get them some players and some strategies, and look out. But I say our first foray with them will be at the Bread and Cheese game in Six Nations on Monday for that one. And then they actually play the second game of the year too the following week. So Owen Sound's going to get tested real quickly. Going on.
Yeah, nice to see that that all that mess has finally been sorted out, though, and that that they're
both teams are in.
They're going to be ready to go.
And there's no sign of Joe Norton anywhere. So I believe that was part and parcel of what Lynn Withers was going to allow them into the league, was if Norton had nothing to do with them. So off he goes, but he doesn't seem to have anything to do with the Senior B North Stars either. So I don't know what happened to him. One thing from the WLA, and Adam J is now he's a Shamrock.
They're loading up.
There's some good news for me.
Well, loading up, but they've also, Cree played with them a couple of years ago. Priolo was playing with them, so it almost feels like it's the same question we were asking last year. Are they rebuilding or are they not?
Mm-hmm. We said that last year, and I was ready to say no. Nope.
Yeah, but I mean,
They're kind of a,
it sure looks like they are now.
And they've got Dunker. They got Dunkerley and O'Reilly as the 1-2 punch and goal too. So I mean, now you add Adam J on that back end.
yeah. I think the rebuild is over.
Yeah,
I think that they're going to start. Don't forget, you also got Brad McCulley playing with them too. So you got a number of guys that are coming back over
now. I would imagine. So, I mean, I still think you have. I mean, between that, with that much change, and with the uncertainty as to whether Christian Del Bianco is going to play with Coquitlam this summer or not. Factor in Curtis Dixon not playing for Langley. He made that pretty clear at the end of last year.
Mm-hmm.
I still feel like you'll have to consider, New West as the favorite to go back to the Man Cup.
Right.
Yeah,
but you also got to remember with Victoria, they're never really in that rebuild because they're kind of like Peterborough. They get 2,800 fans a game also. So you're not going to sit there and put a subpar product on the floor. You're going to do anything Big Morrow Steel pay to get as many guys as you can to be competitive to keep that fan base coming in. Because you never see Peterborough in a rebuild either.
True.
Because 4,000 fans won't let that happen.
Go ahead, Sean.
I was going to say, let's not write off Nanaimo either. I mean, they were 12-6 last year. Zach Mans was the top league scorer in the league. They're just kind of a team that quietly goes about their job and everyone kind of forgets about.
That's true, and they do have they have a solid back end too. They're gonna I assume they'll have Justin Getty in net.
Assuming
Albany's back up. That's a pretty potent defense with Evan Messenger and Adam Wiedemann, and we would assume Willie Johansson is probably going to play for them this summer.
Right.
So I just think it's hard to, for me, it's hard to discount, New Westminster kind of, possibly being that juggernaut, when you're looking at, Mitch Jones returning on offense, Kevin Crowley, Keegan Ball, Hayden
Zach
Dixon,
Higgins.
Will Malcolm, and we got Pat's attention. Zach Higgins in net, of course. With that offense, I think you're going to see Higgins backstop another Man Cup run. The question will be, obviously it'll be a more difficult task because they're coming east. Everyone kind of figures they're probably going to be facing Six Nations again. Not to discount Peterborough or
or Oakville.
All right.
But those trades from MSL does tend to make me believe what we were talking about last week, and that makes the places like Coburg, Brooklyn, Brampton, Owen Sound as the farm system for the other teams. And sure enough, what are we seeing? We're seeing Brad Cree, we're seeing Steve Priolo, we're seeing all these guys jump in. And, where are they going?
Yeah, Pat had to run. He's got to book flights to New Westminster for the season, I think. So.
Yes, he does. He had to get on with his travel agency. While Pat's doing that, though, let's go into another ad, and we're going to put this one in for Dolan's Bar.
When you're staying local and you want to watch a great game or just hang out with some great people, go to Dolan's Bar at 24 East Sellers Ave in Ridley Park, right off I-95 south of the Philadelphia airport. For over 65 years, Dolan's has thrived because of one reason: the amazing people of Philadelphia. Great music, great times, memorabilia, giveaways, great drinks, and great food. You never know when a former Philly sports icon walks through that door. You go to Dolan's at 24 East Sellers Ave, Ridley Park in the 19078. Tell PJ that EOP sent you. Go to dolansbar.com or follow them on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok.
And Doug, it is a pleasure to have you with us. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for tuning in, Doug.
Love all your input. Love everything else.
Doug's been a big vocal supporter of the Firewolves. He was here at the beginning of the season saying watch out for them.
Awesome.
So props to him for seeing and believing in that team.
Absolutely. Dave, pleasure to have you with us. I hope your daughter's softball team did well. Yeah. We had inter-county baseball here in Toronto. They lost. We had the Jays here today. They lost. We used to have the Leafs, so they lost.
Hey, we got the Moose Jaw Warriors.
They lost.
We had the Moose Jaw Warriors WHL final,
Sean.
2-0.
Gotta like that.
Championship in franchise history.
Absolutely.
Excellent.
Yeah, they put together a really great team from that 3-win team to where they are now. The difference in personnel and the difference in attitude is amazing.
Absolutely. Obviously, Kurtz and Simmons, both, finalists for Rookie of the Year. You have to take note of Travis Longboat, how he did this year, coming off, being severe injury for 2 years. And I still think the best trade at the deadline was Albany getting John Wagner. I have to give it the edge, as much as Paul Dawson has really bolstered the Buffalo defense. Having that familiarity with so many years in Rochester with Matt Vince has been a huge help to their back end. I can't say enough about what John Wagner has brought to this Albany team, in terms of block shots, cause turnovers, pushing the ball in transition. And that's another, he's one of the fastest guys in the league.
Absolutely.
You added one of the fastest guys in the league to a team that was already fast with guys like Colton Watkinson and Jackson Nishimura. Just blazing speed, and he's been scoring in the playoffs too.
Right.
to boot.
Yeah.
Granted, one or two of them might have been empty netters or whatever, but he's had a couple of goals in transition, with the goalie in net too.
Right.
So
yeah. I was gonna say that's why I love how. I was gonna say that's how I love this. How this Albany team is built. There's a bunch of really good young talent, and again, taking the Dyson Williams factor out of it, and the fact that he's still coming, this is a team that's going to be sticking together for a long, long time, and they're already making a championship final.
Yeah, and you have to add Will Johansson too. He was drafted 2 years ago. Took a year to finish school and then got injured. So that's that's another addition to the back end. So you're getting
and they're going to be sticking together, right? That's the big
front
thing.
end, one at the back end.
Absolutely.
And this is a team that could be together for 4-6 years. That's
let's
great.
put Dyson Williams in there next time, and away we go, right? So it's they're going to have the problem of having too many stars soon. One ball.
Yeah, that's going to be. When you look at that left side with Walker and Firth, Grennan, it's going to be tough to see who's there now, and that one of them may not be on this team next year. So,
Dave, that's a Calgary T-shirt.
Yep, Calgary T-shirt of Caleb Toth that's actually signed. You can't really see, but it's a signed Caleb Toth T-shirt. Yeah.
All right.
Yes, look him up. One of the most iconic goals in NLL history.
Yes, and that was when he's wearing a Toronto Rock jersey.
I was gonna say, I got the Rock jersey and I got the Calgary shirt. So.
And a little bit of a history for y'all. It was the last goal ever scored in Maple Leaf Gardens. It was the last championship ever won in Maple Leaf Gardens. It was the last game in Maple Leaf Gardens.
Closing down the barn in style.
That's it. Well, now, of course, it's mad at me.
I wasn't going to go there. But...
It's a Loblaws underneath it, and above is an ice rink. But we do have one winning team in Toronto, and that, of course, is the Toronto Hockey Team Women. And, the Women's Professional Hockey League, and, they're about to kick Minnesota out of the playoffs, and They're up 2-0 in that series. So there is one. And then when the WNBA comes here in 2026, there'll be 2. Both ironically playing out of the same barn. Oh, well, what can you say? And there you go, Shawn.
Nice. Funny enough, I found it in a secondhand store, if you'll believe it.
Yeah. But,
Yeah.
yeah, Firth is also, a heck of a fifth option.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So anybody who thinks they're not deep, they're not looking.
Yeah.
Alrighty, just a reminder that a few things start up this week. OJLL Junior starts up this week. Shawn, I know that the juniors start out west already this past week.
Yeah, I can give a couple scores here. So BC got underway this afternoon, actually. And we saw Nanaimo downing Delta 8-4. And then just give me a chance because we got Alberta as well. We actually got some scores from them, I believe it or not. Yesterday afternoon, we saw the Miners defeat the Okotoks Raiders 7-6. And then this afternoon, the Miners picked up their second win of the weekend, 11-9 win over the Calgary Mounties. So Junior A is rolling out west.
Excellent. And over here, of course, Ontario Series Lacrosse, Senior B, has been going on for a few weeks. This weekend was a busy weekend. They had 4 games on the docket. Six Nations just continues to be a juggernaut. They beat Hamilton coming from behind on Friday night, 11-9. They actually played the next night, and they beat Ennismore 14-3. So they're just getting stronger and stronger. Hamilton played also a second game. They played the Brooklyn Merchants, and they were unsuccessful. Brooklyn beat them 13-8 on Saturday, and Owen Sound and Clearview played as well. And Owen Sound came away with a 14-9 victory. And that is your OSL for this week. We talked already briefly that the MSL and WLA are starting up in the next week and a half. Next Monday for MSL, a week and a half, I guess, later that same week for WLA. And the PLL starts up on June the 1st. So things are just going to be flurrying on all of us starting in the next week and a half or so. It's already busy. And just as the NLL finishes off, all this takes up, and it's going to be a heck of a summer. Also with Pat, he's already gone, but we also have, heading into the May 2-4 weekend, we have Division I playoffs and championships coming up, which is going to be exciting. I know he's got his napkin around his neck and his fork and knife polished. Then I get up to the press box for some of that to do. Gotta love that. Just a reminder at this stage that this part of the show is brought to you by Cherry Injury.
If you get hurt at work, in a motor vehicle accident, personal injury, or affected by criminal law, you call David R. Cherry of the Cherry Firm. Cherry Law Firm is here to fight for you and get what you deserve. Cherry Injury Law is a dedicated, well-established personal injury law firm built on the promise of aiding the seriously injured throughout the state of Pennsylvania. If you have been seriously injured in the state of PA by the negligence of another, and if you have questions for a Westchester or media personal injury attorney, please don't hesitate to call. Call 610-565-0300 or go to cherryinjurylaw.com. Let David R. Cherry fight for your right. And again, that number is 610-565-0300 or go to cherryinjurylaw.com.
Absolutely. And yes, NABL is back, and according to Coyote, NABL starts June 1st. So even more stuff to have a look at. And of course, by the end of the summer, when we're all tuckered out and just been through the Man Cup, then we have the World Box Lacrosse Championships for both men and women in Utica. And I totally plan on being there as well, barring anything silly happening. I didn't plan on computers going boom.
I will try to join you there.
That would be awesome. The more the merrier. Should be an exciting time. You'll see some great lacrosse. That's for definitely sure.
Yes, and I'm working on it. I don't have a definite answer yet, but I'm going to try to, if there's a game 3 NLL finals. I'm going to try to be in Albany for it. So
Excellent.
Awesome.
Excellent. Well, I'd like to do that one, but I just 6 hours, such a long drive, man. It's not going there, it's coming back. 6 hours coming back is really long. 6 hours going there, you're all, yeah! On the way back, I guess,
Yeah.
what did I do? How did I do this? But like I said before, like I always find it funny when I'm driving to Hamilton. And, it's a 45-minute drive, maybe an hour. Last Friday was 2 hours. But, when I'm driving to, Albany, or I'm driving to Philadelphia, or, and it's 8 hours and, you got about an hour left, it's like, we're almost there. I get in my car to go to Hamilton, it's like, damn, it's an hour. You can't figure out that psyche in me. But
Because it's Hamilton, Gary.
well, yeah, that's another thing too, right? Almost quicker to go to Buffalo. Just a reminder on our pick'ems. Mike, you're going to like this because you had a good week. Being 2-2, while all the rest of us went 1-3. That picks up again this week. Playoff so far, Mike is just kicking our tails. 5-3 for Mike. 4-4 for all of us in top 3 and 5.
Nothing like coming through in crunch time.
Well, if you all pick different than me for the last 2 games and get them right, or 3 games, you could overtake me. 85-58 for me, 83-60 for Shawn and Eduardo. Pat at 80-63, and Mike at 71-72, and Mike is going over the 500 mark.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, he's gonna do it.
I need to get these next 2 right.
With that kind of authority, man, I might just wait for Mike's picks to come in. What he did. Alrighty. Just a reminder to everybody that we are on Facebook, we are on Twitter, we are on Instagram, we are on Thread, we are also on, yes, we are on YouTube. Come check us out, follow us, subscribe. Retro games, interviews, our library of shows, all kinds of things. There are more things coming all the time. So please head on over to All Across All the Time on YouTube and subscribe over there as well, please. Say more coming again. Just working on the Buffalo Vancouver game from early 2001, and just got a few copyright issues to get rid of, and should be up this week. So, and like I say, the other ones are going in the beginning of this week and should be up by beginning of June. So looking forward to all that. We are your one-stop shop when it comes to lacrosse stuff, whether it's college, whether it's Canadian University, whether it's PLL, NLL, MSL, WLA, MOUSE. We are here for everything. We've got it all. As I say normally, we have our fingers on the pulse of the situation. Come check us out on Facebook 2, 3, 4, 5 times a day, because the news is always changing and we're up to date with everything that we can as quickly as we can. I'm going to go to last words, guys. I'm going to start with you, Shawn, over in Moose Jaw.
Moose Jaw, yeah. No, looking forward to this finals this coming weekend. It's going to be a beauty.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And as Doug says, Retro Games is a must-watch. I appreciate that very much. Thank you. I have many more to put up. Probably another 60 tapes worth of stuff to put up by the time it's all said and done. So there should be close to 100 by the time we're finished. And I'm sure I keep getting different things back from people about other games that they've got. If you got them, I'll be happy to put them up. No problem. Yeah. World Indoor is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
The Czechs were amazing. Israel is fantastic. Also, they did really great showings over in the Rubeski tournament. And now when you get the real one going on with all the players in there, wow. Just wow. Mike, final words.
Yeah, I mean, echo what Shawn said, but more importantly for the Philly fans, we didn't talk too much about PLL, but, obviously it starts June 1st. Week 3, June 15th, June 16th is Philadelphia Water Dogs, your Philadelphia Water Dogs, new franchise, homecoming weekend. So there will be 2 games that weekend at Villanova Stadium. So
right.
You guys will be hearing from us quite a bit on Edge of Philly Sports leading up to that. So.
And Yeti, get your tickets ready, man. University of Albany for first week.
Get your homecoming passes. Yep, Albany first week, but week 3 is in Philadelphia. Water Dogs will have 2 home games that Saturday and Sunday at Villanova Stadium. So,
all right. And when it comes to all the summer ball, we are your one stop. We are it. I am the media guy for Ontario Series, so I will have all the games recapped and up on our sites, as well as on their sites and on their website. MSL, I will have all the games up as they come along as well. WLA, Sean and Mike will take care of all of that. And PLL, the entire team is going to cup on that one, and we are going to make sure that we have everything up as it happens as quickly as it can. So this should be an absolute must to put this on your subscribe list. Make sure that you have all across all the time at all times so you can keep up to date with everything that's going on. And don't forget to tune in to us every Sunday night at 9 p.m. because we will have everything. And I might even have a computer that works, or 2 or 3 of them, as the case may be. Tonight it's 3. So it gets a little confusing which screen did I need to go to. But if you see me stumbling around here, it's just because I'm trying to get used to this makeshift setup. And hopefully by next week I have this all figured out and taken care of. So I want to thank everybody for their patience and their patronage and for being with us week in and week out. We appreciate it. It is our privilege to do everything that we can to get you caught up in lacrosse. For Shawn Slaght over in Moose Jaw, and for Muffler Mike over in Connecticut, I'm Gary Groob in Toronto, wishing you the best of weeks. Keep your stick in your hand, and until we see each other next week, have a great week.